All right, so some key words while we're going over this vocabulary. Number 1, the first thing it says is information. That should be a pretty good indication for what vocabulary we're talking about. Information, it also says it's often numerical, gathered for statistical purposes. But what vocabulary word have we talked about these past 2 weeks that talks about information? London? Data. Data is information, whether it's in English, social studies, science, real world, data, phones, data is information. All right? Number 2, now this one's a little bit trickier, I guess, says anticipates and accounts for variety, but then answers kind of gives it away, because for me to get an answer, I have to have asked a question. So what's my vocabulary word have to be, Evan? Statistical question. And remember, you will have a word bank tomorrow, so that should be fairly straightforward. If it's saying we're getting an answer, we must be asking a question. All right? Number 3, it says it's the difference between the greatest and the least value. So remember, difference means we're subtracting, so that's important. When would I subtract the biggest and the smallest? That's all that's saying. Greatest and least, biggest and smallest. Cameron?
When you're trying to find the range.
When we're doing the range. All right? Number 4, a value that is much higher or much lower. Much higher or much lower. Maddie? An outlier. Hopefully these keywords we're circling will kind of help you out tomorrow, so you know kind of, oh, that's, because these sentences will basically be the same. They'll be in a different order, though. All right? Oh, to say that? All right. Number 5 says the numbers that occur the most often. What do you think my key word is here, Tyler? What do you think my key word is here? Most. What's there the most? And Tyler, what was the answer? Most. Sorry, I was trying to stall so I could get back over here to write it in. All right. Number 6 says it tells you what the data is about in the chart or the graph. It tells you what the data is about. Brandon? Attribute. And guys, if you flip that paper over on the back, at the bottom, it kind of gives it away. Now guys, that is on the study guide for you. I'm going to go ahead and tell you for my advanced students, that attribute where it says what for the attribute, measurement for the unit, tool for the means, it's not going to be on there. So make sure that we're familiar with that in bold there on the study guide, okay? But attribute is what? Number 7, middle number. What is the middle number, Jay? The median. Kind of like the middle of the road is the median. The middle number is the median. In English class, y'all have been learning root words. Y'all have learned the root word medi and median. All right. The next one, this one's the trickiest in my opinion. Number 8, I put a little star next to it because I do think it's one of the trickiest ones. It is 100% guaranteed to be on your test. It says it describes the distribution. What tells me how it's distributed? Lexi? Measure variation. Y'all have done awesome with that. I must have talked about that more than I thought, or y'all just took really good notes. Measure variation, or you looked at your notes. All right, but do put a star next to that because, put a star next to that. Will you have your notes tomorrow? No, and I promise you that is on the test, okay? Just think about distribution as how it's passed out. That means it's either far apart or it's close together, okay? Blank are the values that divide the data into 4 equal groups. What is my vocabulary word that's talking about 4? JC? Quartiles. Because it has that keyword quart. Quartiles. All right? Number 10 is the entire process of collecting, organizing, and interpreting. I want us to think for a second. On every single one of these problems, information has been collected. Then we have to organize it by putting them in order. Then we have to interpret it by finding the mean, the median, the mode, the range. All of those things we're doing on this test. What is this test about? Statistics. So what is my vocabulary word? Statistics. You think that one's going to be on the test about statistics?
No.
Yeah. Number 10 is definitely going to be on the test as well. All right? All right. Number 11 says describes the center of data. Describes the center of data. Jacob? Central tendency. Central tendency. Okay. Number 12. It's the sum of the data divided by the number. So what lets me do the sum and divide? Add and divide. Holland? Mean. What is the median of the lower half? Median of the lower half. Dylan? Lower quartile. Okay. The difference in the lower quartile and upper quartile. So this has to have both of the quartiles. Aaron?
That
Kaylee? The inner quartile range. The I inter Q quartile R is for range. Guys, I will have a word bank for you. The word bank will not say IQR. You'll say interquartile range. So that's the one that we need to write down, okay? If the directions say use the words in the word bank, then we have to use the words in the word bank, okay? So make sure we're familiar with interquartile range. I don't want us to think IQR and then be like, oh, it's not in the word bank. Make sure we know the actual words, okay? All right. The last one is the average distance between the data and the mean. The average distance to the mean. What's that talking about, Maddie? The mean absolute deviation. And again, this is one that deviation. I can't talk and write. This is one where we had put MAD on our work. When we're doing our work, we just write MAD. But for the vocabulary, I need the actual words, so I need mean absolute deviation. Jacob?
If you look in the definition, it says mean and an average distance, so it spells MAD.
It really does. Mean, average distance, like Jacob said, M for mean, average for absolute, distance for deviation. That actually does spell out MAD. That's a really good observation. I like that. All right. Tomorrow on the test, you will have 11 blanks that you have to fill in. So will all of these be on there?
Yeah.
No. If I have 11, we just did 15. Not all of them will be there, okay? All right, but shh. Trying to talk to you about the test. I would love to have your undivided attention right now. All right. You will have 11 vocabulary problems. Your vocabulary on the test, I'm going to write this on here, is all 2 points. So if there are 11 of them, how many points is your vocabulary, Joelle? 22 points. Guys, one of the biggest things that we do in statistics is the words. There's a lot of new words here, okay? Kind of want to mention some really important ones that we did. Data, statistical questions, range. So I'm putting some stars next to some of them. Mode, median, quartiles. I would make sure that you're matching my stars and take that one away from number 6 so no one gets confused. Mean, lower quartiles, inner quartile range, and mean absolute deviation. All right. Yeah, count up how many stars there are there real quick. In your head. In your head.
8 stars on my paper. 11 stars on my paper.
How many stars were there, Jacob? 11. How many vocabulary questions did I say are on our test, Joelle? 11. Do you see the relationship here, guys?
She's helping us. Oh, thank you. Really?
Okay. All right. So we have 11 stars. There are 11 vocabulary questions. That's where I get my 22 points from. All right. I want to break this down a little bit more for you. There are 3 questions like this on your test as well. Those questions on your test will all be 3 points. So that will give you another 9 points right there. So the front side of your test, 22 and 9, give me 31. So the front, guess what I'm putting stars next to it? We'll pay attention next time. I'll put it back up there at the end, okay? But if I'm starring stuff and telling you to star stuff, we should be doing that, okay? All right. Real quick, I want to talk about 16, 17, 18, because this is 3 points each. That's an easy 9 points we should be able to get. So I want to make sure we understand this. On number 16, what is that? That arrow is pointing to 23. What is special about 23? JC? Its value is much, much higher than the others. So what would that be called? An outlier. Okay. On number 17, yes? On her way. Bella, I'll send out those answers tonight, so just make sure we check those. All right. Question, Cameron? Did you have a question?
So on the front it says 16, 17, 18, and if I flip to the back it says 19, 20, 17, 18, 19, 20.
The numbers just got messed up. I was piecing some stuff together. All right. Yeah. What do you? Yes. If it's like this on the review, it's like this on the test. Guys, I am recording this for the other people at home. I would like to be able to continue. So if we can keep our questions minimal. Cameron, that was a good question, okay? The numbering, ignore it. The numbering on the test is good, I think. All right. Aaron?
Are they going to be in order in the test?
If it's like it on the review, it's like it on the test. London just asked that question, so please listen when other people talk as well, okay? All right. On number 17, we're pointing in the middle. What's special about 17, Joelle?
That in the middle is the median.
In the middle is the median. So if I count over from the ends, that goes exactly in the center where the median would be located. On number 18, what is that pointing to on 18? Drew?
The lower quartile.
The lower quartile. So if I split that up, 73 would be my median. On the bottom half, 70 is in the center, making it the lower quartile. What if my arrow was pointing to 15? What would 15 have been? Aaron? It would have been an outlier. But my arrow isn't pointing there, so make sure you pay attention to what the arrow is pointing to, not just the numbers that are written out, okay? All right, Dylan.
On the back, like, do you do for the math, for the mean absolute deviation, could you just write the number when we subtract it, we have to do all
For the mean absolute deviation, I do want your little chart where you have the mean, do your little subtraction column, and then give me your math. Not like that first day, like what we did on the calculations worksheet Wednesday to practice. All right, Drew?
On number 20, do we still have to round to the nearest 10?
Yes.
All right, making sure.
Yes, please, on this entire worksheet, if there needs to be rounding, if a number goes past the 10th place, let's round to the 10th. Jay? Yes. All right, the back side of your test, just so you have a heads up, the back side, all of these will be 4 points. These are where you have your calculations. This is where the majority of your points are going to happen because this is where the work happens. All right, I am going to send out a copy of the answers tonight for you to check them. I do not have morning duty tomorrow, so my room will be open if you have questions. Guys, please remember, if you're just needing to finish your study guide, we have our hallway where you can sit and work. But if you have questions, that's what I want happening in here. If you finish your study guide, you get them all right, congratulations, you're ready for the tests. And in the morning, my recommendation is if you don't have anything to read or anything else to work on while you're sitting on your morning call, study your vocabulary. Look over that vocabulary. Make sure you know those keywords really well, okay? Remember, that's 22 points tomorrow. London? I'm going to send those answers out. Try to check them tonight. If you don't get a chance to, I'll have a key laying out where you can check it.